guys, and welcome to Seriology, a weekly conversation amongst friends regarding what's currently on the small and sometimes big screen and what might have trended in the past, with me, Lady Alexa, a self-proclaimed TV addict, dreamer, and sucker for romantic shows, and my charismatic, yet sarcastic, co-host Rich the Hot Broccoli, also a TV addict, cat lover, and monster sculptor. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Seriology.
Welcome back, everybody.
How are you, Rich?
I'm doing good, LA. I think we've got a great show that we're going to go over today.
I am super excited for this one because originally I was not paying attention to it, and you kept
this one's been on my this one's been on my radar for a long time.
And you keep begging me to watch it, and this weekend I decided to. And I am
so
very happy that I saw it because it's a beautiful show. And
it's like a cheesecake candy of a show.
It's so quirky.
And colorful.
I love it. It's so quirky. And there's so much story and so much love put in the making of the show that it just makes it awesome.
And what's funny about it, it's about the end of the world.
And it's about the end of the world, yes.
Yeah.
For those of you who haven't guessed, we're talking Good Omens today.
Yeah, Good Omens, based on the...
by the novel by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett.
Yeah, the late right? Terry Pratchett. Yeah, yes. Called... It's like a super long title.
Is it the 668 neighbor...
No, Good Omens, the nice and accurate prophecies of Agnes, witch.
And there you go.
Published back in 1990.
You know what happened in 1990?
You were born?
I was born.
Wow, what a guess.
It's a beautiful year. The year that the roses were born. Oh my God. Yeah, I know, I'm stupid. But, you know...
I'm glad you liked the show.
I
watched it again while you were watching it. Good Omens, directed by Douglas McKinnon, yes. McKinnon, and the screenplay by Neil Gaiman.
Okay, so what I love of this, which is one of the fun facts, this is a fun fact, Terry Pratchett, one of his last wishes before he passed away was that he wanted this book on screen. He wanted this book to be either a movie, a TV show. He didn't care. He just wanted it to become a movie. So Neil Gaiman, a very good friend, they co-wrote the book together.
And seriously, a creative legend. So much of his stuff has made it to the big screen, big and little
Exactly. Screen. Sandman, everybody. And so he decided to, because this was such an important thing as a memory to Terry Pratchett, he became the showrunner for this. He co-wrote the script. He was in charge of everything. Not only the script, not only how the things were looking, but everything. He was in charge of every single little detail that went into that show. He was the one saying yes or no, which is always good because people always say, "Oh, this is not as good as a book." Of course, it's not always going to be the same as a book, but to know that one of the authors of the book was the one spearheading this, it's just fantastic.
All right, let's jump into it. I mean, the story is about heaven and hell, the Great War, end of the world. How would you describe this?
As the beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it starts off with the Garden of Eden. It's the best
way of saying it. Yeah, it starts all the way on the beginning of the world on
Adam
Eden,
and Eve, and
when they finally sin by eating the apple, and we find out
you do know what that's the metaphor for, right? It's not just biting an apple. I mean, she comes out of the wall pregnant.
Oh God, had to go there, right?
Well.
But
got to make it a PG-13 podcast here.
By the way, Rich, I want to say something.
Mm-hmm.
You are the Crowley to my Aziraphale.
Yeah, I can see that. It like even it starts out with this pleasant and delightful narrator, and it's, to me, this feels like the same format as The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the movie. Just
Okay.
this soft, pleasant, inviting. I don't know if you saw that one.
No.
Okay, it's just as pleasant with quirky, weird facts as they're going through the beginning, and then to Adam and Eve.
Yes. I really there's something about it that really got me, and it's the fact it's the colors, as how you were saying, and you have the angel who's very wide, and then you have the demon who's red, and the eyes, but he's always like covering them with the glasses.
But they do. Don't they have the yellow snake eyes when
Yes.
he's not?
Yeah, whenever he doesn't have the glasses, he has
Yeah.
like those really snaky eyes. But I love the colors, and that's how the story begins with.
Yeah, but like the color palette throughout the whole season
the
is
whole
like
for
that.
the
Yeah.
whole thing, and I love that God is a woman and American, not British. But yeah, no. So Aziraphale, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name. He was
Aziraphale.
on he was on apple tree duty on when back in Eden, and he gives his sword, his flaming sword, which was something that God gave him before he went down to earth to protect, and he gave it to Adam as the first thing of fire and things like that, so he could protect himself when they left Eden.
And even when him and Crowley were sitting up on the wall, just pleasantly describing, well, it's going to basically, it's going to be downhill from here.
Yes.
And he's like, and you gave your sword, and he's like, well, she was pregnant. And then they cut to that scene where he's awkwardly fighting the lion in the desert. And
he's like, I love how Crowley's like, well, but you did it as something good, right? So it's good for you. And he's like, yes. Oh, could you imagine if I did something good and then you did something bad, and how that doesn't make any sense? I love how that is how their friendship begins.
that they balance each other out. Like
Exactly.
Good and evil throughout their friendship balance each other out in kind of every adventure they go on.
Every adventure, he's like the yin to his yang. And fun fact, when Neil and Terry, when Neil started writing the book, he had this one character, which was Aziraphale, but Aziraphale and Crowley were one character. They were not two characters apart. And then when Terry joined, he said, you know what? This person is too much. There needs to be a balance, and there needs to be the other side of the coin, and that's when the two characters were created.
And did you know that they were exchanging the book
Pardon.
when they were writing it back and forth on a floppy disk?
Yes.
Which you guys don't even know what a floppy disk is anymore.
I used to play with it. It was so fun. And I always asked for the pink one, and I always got like the black,
green,
the
or the
black
green,
ugly
yeah.
one. Ugh.
Sharpie on the label, what it is.
Yes. But a lot of things happen. I feel like a lot of things happen in the first episode. Like it's
It's the foundation, the setup
packed.
of
because
setup of everything.
right out of Eden, you jump into the present not the present, but
11 years from the
11
present.
years before the present time in the book, which is when the Antichrist is given to Crowley for him to give to the American ambassador.
But okay,
And
even in that scene, he's talking with two demons, and those demons, heaven and hell, I feel like have been so focused on a war they forgot they're disenfranchised from what's going on.
they're
Earth.
like bureaucrats who have no
Yeah.
idea what's going down.
What's going on? They've got their two people that kind
Yes.
of write in, do paperwork for what's going on. But,
Exactly.
both Aziraphale and Crowley are tasked with bringing people to one side or the other, and the two demons are saying, "Oh well, I tempted this guy, so in 5 years we'll have him on our side." Like this really slow build to get somebody to
And
be
he
a
just
hell
comes-
soul.
And he just comes, like the modern version.
Modern way,
of
and he's like,
this
well, I shut down the
demon.
whole cell phone system. And he's like,
People
what's
are
a
gonna
cell
go
phone?
crazy.
Yeah, what's a cell phone? But like he does these huge things and they keep backfiring him throughout the whole series, which was really funny. And
That
he thought
was
he was being
so funny,
really
yes.
smart with doing a mass angering of people, and then it just ends up backfiring because he needed to do or be on that.
And can we talk about, I don't know if it's in this in this episode or not, but can we talk about the fact that he took he went to hell and he said that the Spanish Inquisition was his doing?
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell, Crowley?
Well, I mean that's what he's tasked to do, is to
and
raise
as he
hell.
said, heaven and hell, they were so focused
weren't
on
paying
this.
they weren't paying attention to what's actually going on Earth.
On this war that is going to happen 6,000 years after, that they didn't care. So whatever he would send them, they didn't check. They didn't fact check anything. So
Yeah, it was just
he could do
paperwork.
whatever he wanted.
Like whatever spreadsheet your boss ever asked you to make.
Also, and I have to give kudos to Neil Gaiman. The music in this show was phenomenal.
The soundtrack.
Yeah, no, all the Queen songs, everything.
In the book, when the book was written, Queen was making its big comeback, or was very popular.
It was right before Freddie passed away.
Yeah, and so like it seemed like every song on the radio was a
Queen.
Queen song. So in his car, if his cassette tape had been in the car longer than 6 days, it would turn into a Queen song. So that's why there's so much Queen in the whole soundtrack.
Which I am happy with because I
I
actually love Queens.
And they did it. They placed the music with what's going on in the scene so tastefully.
Exactly. They knew what song to add to each scene.
And that's always a favorite of mine when they do the music that fits the scenes well.
Yeah, I completely agree there with you. But the minute that he's given the Antichrist, which he is not happy with, he then goes to the convent.
Where a comedy of error happens and where the baby was supposed to get exchanged with another one, but then another family had an emergency baby, so there was 2 babies in the ward. And I loved how they did the analysis with the 3-card Monty of the switching of the babies.
The surplus baby?
Yes, the surplus baby.
No, and it's just that, as you said, and everything that shouldn't have happened. Like
Newton's law.
Yeah, when Crowley comes in, he talks with the dad, and he thinks
Thinking
that
it's the dad he's supposed to,
Yeah, he thinks that it's ambassador, but it's not the ambassador, it's the other dad. So he tells him room 3, which is not the room that the ambassador wife is.
And even there's miscommunication with the nuns
Even
who are
with
dealing
the nuns.
dealing with the 2 births going on.
And the one that apparently was making all the mistakes was the one that got the baby.
Baby Satan.
Yes. I love the naming part. You should name him Damien. No, it doesn't rhyme. How about this other one? It doesn't go. How about Adam, the first man? But both nuns began with Damien.
But like even when they named the kid they thought was the Antichrist, Warlock. And of course the American diplomats were like, that's a great name for our baby.
Yeah, no. Like, who names their kid Warlock?
Do you feel it's sort of a slight that they gave the devil baby to American diplomats and not...
Yes!
Like, we're the heathens, which I get.
Everything was for the American, but like, who's gonna raise the Antichrist? The American ambassadors.
Yeah, the American ambassadors for Britain.
What the hell? The minute this happens, Crowley starts trying to contact Azrael.
But he's shut down the entire cell service throughout all of London, so he
So
can't
he's
get through. Yeah.
Which is what you said, that all the things he thought he was so smart for doing
Backfires, yeah. But like they've been on Earth 6,000 years. They become humanized, and they start
Exactly.
like it took this moment for them to realize they didn't want the destruction of the world, of humanity.
Of course not, because they
fell in
were
love with
enjoying.
what humans create.
And that's when you see Azrael in that current time, while he's eating this sushi, and he's just like, oh, thank God it came. And I have actually a cute fun fact about this scene. When this scene was very important for Neil Gaiman, because it was his homage to Terry Pratchett. Pratchett?
Pressure,
No.
yeah. Either or.
Well, what? It was his homage to Terry, because they kept, when they were talking about how they were gonna pass the book to movie, he and Terry said that they wanted this scene. They wanted this scene where it was a sushi place, where Crowley and Raphael were eating sushi, and they were gonna be on the background
Just
eating
hanging
as
out.
well, just chilling. While, we're just here chilling and doing anything while the rest of the people are working. That was their idea, and for him that
it was cool that
scene-
Neil kept that.
Yeah, that
kept
for
that
him
in.
that scene was very special, and I thought it was a really cute thing.
And in this scene, we get introduced to one of my favorite characters, middle management, John Hamm as Gabriel.
Oh, the most handsome man in the world, I think.
He has a great way of playing delightful arrogance
He is just
in so many things.
incredible. I love that they gave him those purple eye contacts to make him more ethereal, otherworldly, and and all of his clothes were always like on that tone.
Yeah, the
like
grays and the lavenders.
grays and lavenders, and I love John Hamm. He's just perfect. Whenever he talks, he's such a manly, elegant,
Delightful arrogance.
delightful arrogance. Yes, exactly.
And he comes in commanding as always, and middle management who's not paying attention to what's actually going on, just coming in and it's like this idea.
I love
We
that-
find out about the whole hierarchy that
love-
like company in heaven.
I find it very funny that when people were asking John Hamm what his character was about, he's like, I played Gabriel as the boss that everybody has had and everybody hates. That annoying
Yeah.
boss that thinks that he knows everything, but he actually doesn't, because he doesn't give a shit nor pays attention of what's going on.
Yeah, just all about the bottom line and nothing else really
Exactly.
matters.
And I think he did a really good job of that.
Yeah. Because every scene he's in, it doesn't matter what Aziraphale is trying to tell him. It's just like, well,
No,
it doesn't
the
matter.
war is
You can't
happening.
you can't have war without war.
You have a little belly. You need to
Like
shape
both
up
heaven and
for
hell.
the war.
Yeah, for 6,000 years, this is all they've been focusing on is this war, and nothing else really matters.
Exactly. Oh lordy. I know, and
Like even when him and the other angel go to the bookstore.
that is one of my favorite parts in this whole show. That he's like, "What?"
They
are
try to
we
play it
gonna
off as being off as human.
I need to buy a book, a pornography book.
I
And
need to
he's
buy
like-
some of your pornography.
And he needs to be very loud, so he's
Inconspicuous.
Thank you. My Venezuelan is coming out. Inconspicuous, and then he's like, I'm going to the back room to buy some pornography. like making it worse than
Yeah.
worse every time.
Like he's feels like he's fitting in.
Yes, and he's not. And he's like, oh, these humans, they get embarrassed by anything. They are so funny.
Just like when someone says to, hey, act natural, and you're like, I would like this loaf of bread, thank you.
Exactly.
And you become so awkward and uncomfortable.
Exactly. That was literally how he started doing it. It was very funny. And also, when this starts...
Ooh, yeah. This is more like... I feel like the series is very much focused on the friendship of Aziraphale and Crowley, but like it's all these other side stories that come into play that shape the entire series.
Yeah, no, that's why I see it as a timeline. That's why I said beginning, middle, and end. The timeline is their friendship and all the things that happen in between. So you have when they met, when it ends, and when the Antichrist happened, which will be like the middle. We already enter the second one. The Four Horsemen, which it's 4 different characters that I find so
And if you
funny.
if you guys don't know your Bible, the 4 horsemen come together for the apocalypse.
Exactly. They start getting cold, but because time has changed, they have people to do that. And it's when you see this delivery man super randomly entering this crazy war zone in the middle of nowhere.
To deliver a sword to let the first horseman know it's time.
And she's all red. I love that.
I love, her color palette with her eyes
Yes.
being blue with the red hair.
Exactly.
And the black outfits.
And she got the flaming sword. The famous flaming sword that Mr. Aziraphale lost. Then Agnes Nutter is introduced.
And this is a flashback.
Yes. I feel like that's why I say that each episode it's packed with so much information.
Like you wouldn't believe how much I got watching this a second time. How much I missed, I should say.
I can't even imagine. I want to watch it again so I can like see the things that I missed on the first round.
Even little things, little things that, when they're with the nuns and Crowley's about to leave, and the nun asks, "Do you think he'll remember me?" And Crowley says, being a demon, "I pray that he doesn't." And that was like such a funny line to me that the demon would say that. And I like that the angel or Aziraphale keeps saying, "I'll be tempted to go eat something."
Yes.
When he's not, when angels don't get tempted. And it was just clever little tweaks that made the writing clever.
You're the one tempting me to go to the Ritz. But I love, it's like backwards, forwards, like
to tell the story. And even the narrator in this part was great with describing different prophecies.
Yes. Even when they are in the book, and I'm going backwards. I'm sorry, guys. Now I'm like the show. But when they are in when Gabriel is there, is talking with the Aziraphale, he's with the guy from Sodom.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Even with his like, "Oh, been smiting, are you?" Like just tiny little bits.
Those little tiny things that made it special. But yeah, so now we go backwards in time and we get introduced to this book. This book that is like the one that can save the world.
The most prophetic.
Exactly, the most prophetic book ever, which is the prophecy of Agnes Nutter, correct?
Yes, you got it. Nailed it.
Woohoo! I find that this whole process with Agnes Nutter was so funny.
And it's like set back in the 1700s-ish, like really far.
And not only do you get her, but you also get Pulsifer, who is this...
Which is such a great name, too.
What was his name?
A witch hunter. Thou shall not commit adultery, Pulsifer.
Yes. Thank you.
Is the witch hunter's name. And it's just coming up with a name that clever.
Like, who does that? And, okay, so we're gonna go and kill this witch. And she knew she was gonna die. Nonetheless, she had everything prepared. She left everything for her daughter and all of her descendants. And not only that, but she said, well, if I'm going down, everybody's going down with me. and she put she had nails and powder underneath her skirt. So when they took her to the thing where the witches get burned, I forgot the name for that.
Pyre.
To that.
To the fire stick.
Everybody dies because the explosion just went up. Everybody got, pardon my French, screwed. And then that's when you see her daughter come in and her husband and everything.
And then forward in time, we're at her great-great-great-granddaughter.
Yes, Anathema, which... No, we get introduced to baby Anathema.
Or child, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I guess child.
Whatever. Toddler.
Yeah.
Toddler
with her
Anathema.
mother teaching her about the prophecies in the book and to memorize the prophecies.
And how they had like flashcards of all the prophecies. And she's like drawing on the cover of the book, and her mom is like, okay, lesson for today. What happens in prophecy 1938? Coño.
Guys, the reason why we're talking about this so much, because the book and the prophecies drive the story.
Exactly. It literally says everything that is going to happen, where it's going to happen, and when it's going to happen in riddles. And the only family that had it was Agnes
there was a publishing
descendants.
company. A publishing company published it, but nobody bought it, and they had the only copy.
Exactly. And
but it was like throughout history, this book has been rumored to exist.
And everybody wanted it.
Then we cut. What is it? We cut to like the kid's 11th birthday.
No, you get introduced to the toddler version of Pulsifer Descendant, which is the little kid.
Oh yeah, his story starts picking up right there.
Yeah, where he's burning all the computers and
he wants to be a computer engineer, but every time he touches a computer, it goes haywire, blows up.
All the electricity in the whole town just poof. Fast forward 11th birthday.
Yes.
And Crowley gets a notice from Ligor and Astor that they're gonna send a hellhound.
These are fellow demons.
Demons that he's gonna get a hellhound.
That he's gonna be. It's his 11th birthday. He's gonna be coming into his Satan powers.
Exactly. Their present is this huge dog.
The character development on his teeth
was incredible.
Yes.
No, fantastic. And
the hellhound is like biblically it's supposed to protect the son of Satan while he's coming into his powers.
But this dog is going to be like the beginning of everything. When the Antichrist names the dog,
that's when everything kicks off.
And the name of the
beginning
dog,
of Armageddon, we should
exactly.
Say.
And
yes.
the name of the dog is going to show the course of how everything is going to happen. So here is Azrael and Crowley playing magicians. And granted, fake magicians. There's two guys that can actually make magic, that can actually make miracles. Playing simple magicians and waiting for the freaking hellhound that never came. And that's when they are like, oh crap, we have the wrong kid.
Scooby-Doo mystery on finding the kid.
Everything they start reaching to their people, which is something that I found hilarious, how Azrael is like, I have a whole net of human that are good at looking at people. I can tell them. And Crowley's like, I have a net as well.
It's just a one guy that they both think is a huge network, and they both not realizing it's the Witch Hunters Guild.
They do not know
one guy that's left.
The same guy, and that this guy has been fooling them for I don't know how many years, telling them that
to get funding.
Yeah, that they are paying for this huge army. But then the hellhound comes to Adam.
Yeah, Adam, the actual son of Satan. They live in this quaint little village in England where it's a lot of forest areas and a small little suburb. Like the way you would picture merry old England to be. So at this point, the hellhound is searching him out, and he hears dog, and the narrator goes, oh yeah, just lurking through the woods. Yeah. And the narration kicks in about how it's going to dictate. This is the moment that that both heaven and hell have been waiting for, kind of thing, that will dictate the rest of what's going to turn out, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, yeah, I will name it Dog.
There's something about this beautiful friendship between Crowley and, come on, Rich, say the name.
Aziraphale?
There you go.
Guess you've been saying it wrong this whole episode.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna butcher it. And let us.
You have phonetically been saying it correctly.
In my mind, in my head, I say it perfectly, but when it comes out of my mouth, it's just not there.
They do this very pleasant history with these two characters.
That one
Going through
episode,
time.
yeah, that one episode that takes you all over time and shows you that Crowley has always been there, getting Serafel out of problem. Like, he's always getting in trouble, and Crowley is there to get him out of it. Like,
But he does it in just a tiny bit of a devilish way.
Yes, but like,
It's not full Satan. It's just a kind of a pranky, devilish way.
I find it so cute. My favorite, the part that I laughed a lot was on the French Revolution. He just went to France dressed like
An Englishman.
an Englishman with money,
Yeah.
just because he was fancying
Peckish.
a crepe.
Peckish and wanted a crepe, and he gets thrown in the brig to get his head chopped off.
Yep,
But even the Shakespeare scene
with Hamlet.
where they come up with the, well, if both of us need to go to a place, why not just split the load and one of us go to the place and do both the jobs, and the other person goes to a different place and do both the jobs.
Exactly. They became really good friends, but the other one with the Nazis on the Second World War, and Aziraphale thinks that, he is nailing. He's a spy. Oh my God, I am nailing this.
Where he thinks he outwits the Nazis.
Yeah, and then you see Crowley just ouch, 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 ouch coming in. That part was
So
fantastic.
The exchange of these books to the Nazis is held in a church, and to save Aziraphale, Crowley comes into the church and his feet are burning and he's like tiptoeing on the floor
Because
and
it's
really
consecrated ground. So he's just like jumping. And fun fact about this is that originally Neil Gaiman and Michael Sheen, who plays Aziraphale, they've been friends for a long time. And Michael Sheen said, I want you to be part of Good Omens, and I think that you should be Crowley. So,
And it's probably based on his role in Masters of Sex.
probably, yes.
Because he is a little bit menacing and cold in that.
Michael Sheen starts reading the thing. Neil Gaiman keeps writing, and they say that while Michael was reading it, he starts realizing, like, I am not
Feeling this
Crowley.
character,
Yeah,
yeah.
like, I am not good enough for Crowley. I think I'm more a Serafel. And even Neil says the same thing, and they go to this dinner where they're both feeling crazy awkward because he's like, hey, I'm not gonna be here because I'm not gonna do Crowley, and he's like, I was not gonna give you Crowley. I think you should be, okay, that one I can do. And that's when Neil starts writing for David Tennant. He says that scene where he comes jumping in the consecrated ground, he wrote it thinking of David Tennant and his work on Doctor Who.
There are so many connections with Doctor Who and Good
Yes.
Omens. Like, the director, the writer, both have done episodes of Doctor Who. Michael Sheen, David Tennant, and Benedict Cumberbatch, who's
Yeah.
also in plays a bit in this.
I think we're going
All
back.
have been in Doctor Who.
We're going back to one of the things that we previously said in our other episodes, where British people like to recycle their actors.
Yeah, but I feel like with this particular director and writer, he stays pretty close to his actors.
Yeah, I agree.
Like the way Scorsese does with his actors for
Leo.
Yeah, and De Niro.
Yeah.
And Pesci.
I think that they all, and even Adam Sandler, he always has this group of friends that he does the movies with.
But I like when a director and an actor have that relationship.
It's a really good and a nice one.
And you could totally tell the relationship.
Yes.
In Good Omens. Between director, writer, and actors.
Definitely.
And I thought David Tennant was a great cast because he's got that slinky frontman of a rock band feel about him in this.
He's crazy funny and
even his movements sway like a snake.
And he was a crawler. He was a crawler.
He was the snake.
Back to the show. We're drifting.
Yeah.
Fast forward, and everybody starts getting together, starts going towards Tadfield.
Where Satan
is.
Adam is, yeah.
Where Satan, where the
everyone's
Antichrist
discovering
is.
that the Antichrist is in Tadfield, England.
Exactly. So everybody wants to go there. And we meet for the first time Anathema, grown Anathema, which I have a fun fact for our Latin listeners. The actress playing Anathema, Adria Arjona, she is the daughter of singer Ricardo Arjona, who is huge in Latin America. I mean, I grew up listening to many of his songs. He is huge. And when I saw her name, I'm like, Arjona, is she related to Ricardo Arjona? And she's the daughter.
That's a story nobody in America will relate to.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying for our Latin audience. Come on. He is a big, big singer in Latin America. Anywho, back to this. So we meet grown Anathema. We need grown Pulsifer, who is now part of
by circumstance and chance is part of the witch hunters, like his great 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 grandfather.
And he's hired by Shadwell. He is the only
witch hunter left.
Exactly. And he literally, Shadwell sends him stop annoying me. Yeah, you can go to Tadfield, do whatever you want. Here's the pin. Here's how was it? The bell, the book, and the candle.
Just ridiculous things to take as weapons.
Yes.
As defense.
And so he goes there. The kids are getting there. We meet the other horsemen. So we have...
Yeah, the other horsemen start coming into play.
Yeah, we have Famine. Who gets... He enjoys... He enjoys rich people not eating.
Starving themselves at expensive restaurants. You know, those stupid restaurants you hear about that are like the foam of a mushroom. And that one, the beginning first meal that they did on the show.
The smell of lavender.
The smell of lavender, and the waiter just puffs an airbag into this woman's face. And you could just feel the indulgence in this scene.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Then we meet Pollution, who is the newest horseman, because the old one was...
yes, I loved that Pestilence had to retire because it wasn't a thing, but Pollution took over in Pestilence place.
Exactly. Yeah, I found that little quirkiness of Pestilence had to retire because the medicine came.
Yeah, and I the scene with Pollution, I thought it was a punch in the face to the world. The scene takes place on this river that was supposed to be a place where families had picnics and lovers went to go canoodle and whatnot. And now it's just filled with garbage.
Yeah, that was very funny.
And the delivery guy walks up to Pollution, and she's like, "Isn't it just gorgeous, all of this?" Unwraps her package and then throws the box in the lake. I thought it was a great punch in the face.
She was crying of how beautiful the lake was polluted. And then you have the delivery man who commits suicidal. He kills himself.
Does he kill himself?
Yes.
I didn't. Are you sure that's a killing himself, or he just died?
He walks in front of a car. What do you call that?
Well, I didn't think he walked in front of it because the scene
No,
before.
he literally walks in front of the car, and he thinks
Okay.
like, "Oh, I didn't do it. Nope, you're dead."
And we were introduced to death.
We're introduced to that. So the Force Horsemen are starting to get to drive to Tadfield on their bikes, which I thought it was
Individually in different places, and I love that they use these motorcycles.
Yes, that was
Instead
fantastic.
of, like, I think it was a good modern interpretation
Exactly.
of horses.
And
Plural.
through all of this, because Aziraphale and Crowley are also trying to figure out where the Antichrist is by mysteries and by coincidence. They gave a ride to Anathema, and Anathema left the book, the Agnes Nutter book, on the car, and Aziraphale got it.
And reads it.
He finds out where the Antichrist lives. He calls heaven.
And I love the ending of this episode where he's like, sorry, right number, because he's no, he called the right place.
Right number.
And then he hangs up and the scene ends.
The fact that he goes and he calls heaven because he wants to talk to God. He doesn't want to talk to Gabriel. He wants to go straight to the source. He talks to a Metatron.
The Metatron, the voice of God. Yes,
exactly.
Who also played in Doctor Who.
He says he gets the same thing that Gabriel said. The war is gonna happen. Just go with it. Accept it. We just need to fight.
Can't have war without war.
Exactly. And by some mistake,
Like
Shad
basically,
will
Earth
come-
is just there for an interim for this war.
Exactly. And
Like it's just been a nuisance for quite a while.
so Shadwell comes. He sees him. He thinks that he is a demon, and he comes and he tries to exorcise him with his finger. And what he didn't see is that Aziraphale falls by mistake on the pentagram that he had drawn to talk with the Metatron, and he's vaporized and sent back to heaven.
And because of this, his earthly body is dissolved.
Yes.
It
Non-existent.
doesn't exist. Yeah, doesn't exist anymore. So now he's trying to figure out how to get back to Earth, and he has to go through a medium, psychic medium, to get
Madame Tracy.
who happens to be Shadwell's neighbor.
Through all this, the bookstore, which we get to one of my favorite scenes in the whole show. The bookstore goes up in flame. And Crowley's driving there because he wants to get to his friend and, drive up to see the Antichrist. And he runs inside trying to find Aziraphale, and he can't find it. And he screams to the world, "My best friend died." To me, that was such an emotional and beautiful scene.
Because at this point, they keep saying that they're not friends.
Exactly. They keep denying.
They're friends because they are angel and demon.
Exactly. But at this point, he finally admitted it. My best friend died. And he just goes to a bar to, drink his sorrows away. And the spirit of Aziraphale appears, and he's like, "Oh my God, you're here!" And he tells him, "Yeah, let's go to Tadfield. I'll meet you over there." This part you have to say it because it's one of your main points, that all the things Crowley has done in the past come to bite him in the present.
So they do his cutback scene about the design of the M5, which is a highway around London. And they show it as being very efficient, but then Crowley steps in and redesigns it and makes it total chaos when it's finished. And so now he's stuck in traffic on the I-5. Because of his own
M25, yeah.
Okay, the highway.
And then it goes up in flames because of his design.
Yeah, well, no, it goes up because now Adam, son of Satan, is starting to come into his powers. He starts reading all this literature that anathema is given him on occult subjects and underground stuff. And because he's the son of Satan, he could make what he believes actually happen in real life. Which I thought the rising of Atlantis and the Kraken and the aliens come to visit and spread word of peace. But I think it helped Adam see that things in the world could get better.
Not only
instead
that,
of destroy.
Not only that,
this is, I think, part of his building process.
Not only did it help on Adam to see that the world could get better, but I feel like it also helped on the quirkiness of the show. So you start seeing his power. Even his friends are starting to be scared of him.
And like anybody who gets into power too quickly,
it's dangerous.
Become corrupt with it. They don't know how to use it yet, so they abuse it.
Reminds me Game of Thrones, Daenerys, because she will tell people it was a perfect world, but not necessarily is the correct idea. Which was the same with Adam. His idea of a perfect world with my 4 friends that are coming.
The Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Yeah, it was not the right idea, but he just thought it was. So Crowley decides to go through the Ring of Fire, and he gets killed.
This part I didn't understand. So the other demon ends up driving through fire in Crowley's 1937 Bentley. But the reason why Crowley doesn't die is because the narrator says it's because he has an imagination and he believes his car is holding up. I didn't understand. I felt like it was a little bit of a cop-out of writing to resolve this part of the story.
Probably. I didn't understand it either.
Yeah, I didn't understand why.
I want to say that maybe because Crowley had faith.
Oh, okay.
Crowley had faith, which is something that the other one didn't have.
Demons don't have.
So yes, I want to say it's.
I like that.
I want to say it's that kept Crowley going.
Good call, LA.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
From time to time, I get a good idea.
Time to time.
Yeah. But that's how he keeps driving, and everybody.
Basically, he gets out of London, and his car is on fire the whole way, and it's just a funny with a Queen song playing.
We Will Rock You.
Yes.
Which
and it's beautiful. It was such a nice touch.
Which, by the way, when he thinks that Aziraphale died, the song on his car is Queen's "You're My Best Friend." Like the music, as we said before, the music was so well put together. Yeah. So he is on his flaming car on his way to the airbase where
everything's supposed to converge.
Yeah.
The end of the world is supposed to start there.
Everything is gonna explode there.
This American of course, an American airbase in England, because we're the start of everything.
Exactly.
Everything bad.
And so this is all happening. He is driving there. Madame Tracy, aka Aziraphale, is driving in this little scooter with Shadwell on the back. On top of that, the 4 horsemen riding, they go in as American politicians that they wanted to make a surprise visit. And then you have Anathema and Pulsifer. Thanks to the prophecies, they knew another way of going in without going through the main entrance.
Everybody's converging onto the airbase at this point.
The horsemen go in, Anathema and Pulsifer go on their way. Horsemen go in,
take over the world's computers for nuclear arms for war to start.
But the ones that are not being able to go in right now are Aziraphale and company and Crowley. But Crowley comes in, and Crowley is usually the one that can, make the miracle happen, because Aziraphale right now, he can't on the body he's in. And the minute he gets out of his car goes down. Like, his car just breaks
so they're trying to get
down.
into the fence. They are able to get through the guard gate.
No, but
the end of the world is starting, and Aziraphale is like, you want to get going? He's like, and Crowley's car is finally breaking down.
It broke down. It's not
broke down, like,
finally breaking
completely
down.
done.
It broke down.
And he's like, "Come on, Crawley, we gotta
go.
save the world." And he's like, he says this, "I'm just having a moment."
I am having a moment here.
About his car.
Adam and his 3 friends, Aziraphale and company.
Let's back up a
Crawley.
second. This is another. It's a minor detail, but it was something I was like, this happened a little too quick. Adam went from coming into his power, becoming completely terrifying to his friends and to the world.
From becoming the Antichrist. He became the Antichrist.
To 10 minutes later, passing out from his power and then getting up off the floor, and like all of a sudden he's okay.
Because
he's like, "Oh, it wasn't myself."
The love of his friends.
It just that transition happened a little too
back.
fast, though. They could have spread that out a little more.
True.
That's kind of the only thing I didn't like about the story.
Okay.
Was how quick Adam's transformation was.
I'll give you that, but it was the love of his friends that brought him back. So they are Aziraphale and company, which is he's in Madame Tracy's body, and Shadwell, Crawley, Adam, and his 3 friends start talking, and Adam comes and he's like, wait. Why are you 2 people? You guys need to separate.
That was great. Why are you 2 people?
Why are you 2 people? You guys need to separate. And he gives Aziraphale his body back, which is fantastic. And Crawley stops time, and they go into like this little bubble, the angel, the demon, and the Antichrist, to try to see how they're gonna tackle the 4 horsemen and how they're gonna try and win this.
They do that right before his dad comes.
Yeah, no. This is before the horsemen come in.
You sure?
Or before his dad.
Yeah, it was before his dad comes in. Because the kids are the one that come up with the idea on how to get rid of... Because Adam's like, remember, they're just pretend.
Oh, yeah, they're... Okay, yeah, sorry. So he called his friends and they come out. Oh, you're here. Because he literally screams, I'm here. They go, Adam.
Oh.
He literally screams.
Yes, okay, so they're all out in the outside. And basically he just tells his friends that...
Say what you're thinking.
Say what you're thinking, because they're just pretend.
Say how you really feel, because the power of faith, the power of belief, is stronger than hate,
yes.
and this type of, and what the 4 horsemen symbolize. So the little girl goes against war, and because she says, I believe in peace. And with the flaming sword, she destroys war. Then we have one of the friends who says, I believe in a clean water, in a clean world.
Clean eating for famine and clean...
And then the other one says, I believe in food, in a healthy world, yada, yada, yada. And they killed the three of the 4 horsemen. They are not allowed to kill Death, because Death is dead.
He's an abstract more than... Like, we can't cure death, but we could cure a polluted lake.
Exactly. And we can stop war, and we can stop famine.
Yes.
Which I thought it was a nice touch, that you can kill death.
There was a lot of environmental undertones.
Yes, I agree there.
In this whole series.
I agree there. They win the battle with the 4 horsemen, but there is still a war inside the room where the computers were still going.
And of course,
this is where
the computer engineer who destroys every computer he touches. Touches the computer.
This is where Anathema and Pulsifer come in, fix computers, and when I do, they just break. Okay, how would you fix this computer? And he just literally presses 3 buttons, and
the whole system shuts down and saves the world.
Exactly. That was his superpower. And you'd think that everybody will be happy because they stopped the world from ending. However, there are 2 bands that are very angry. It didn't happen.
2 factions, because they've been waiting for war.
For 6,000 years. So Gabriel, the Archangel Gabriel, comes pissed at Azrael And the one representing hell
Beelzebub.
come the same crazy angry at Crowley because one has 10 million angels ready to fight and the other one has 10 million demons ready to fight, and they don't know what to do because the Antichrist just said there won't be a fight, the world is not ending.
I loved when Lucifer pops out of the ground.
But before that, I love how Gabriel says, "Huh, is that what you're gonna tell your dad?" And the demon just like, "Oh, his real dad is actually gonna know about this." And she goes and tells Lucifer, "What the hell happened?"
Even the Lucifer character was not terrifying. The character design itself.
I had no idea it was Benedict Cumberbatch.
I didn't either until I started reading some of the credits. But I don't think it would have mattered.
No, yeah.
Who that was.
You can only hear him.
It was just a voice. Yeah.
It's just a voice. But I kept listening to everybody talk about Benedict being part of Good Omens, and I'm like, did I miss him?
Yeah.
Was there something I didn't see? And then I go back into the cast, and he plays the voice of Satan. Oh,
but
okay,
even
that
the portrayal
sense.
of that Satan isn't a normal, disgusting demon face monster. He was pleasant to look at, and I liked that because Satan was an angel. He was the light bringer before he was cast out.
He was the most beautiful angel.
And I liked how they did that. They didn't have to make him a monster. It was such a nice, different take.
Yes.
On Lucifer.
And it's funny that it was the typical red demon with the horns.
No, but it was like the crown who made the horns. Which was cool, which was good character design.
What every kid always usually draws,
There's the two horns and the bifurcated tail. And...
which is part of the quirkiness and the beauty of this show. And here, this is the confrontation between Adam and Lucifer when Lucifer comes here and he's like, "I'm your father, you should be doing what I say." And he's like, "You're not my father. You're not my real father. My real father will never say this to me. My real father will never ask me to end the world." And that's when...
Yeah, where have you been the last 11 years?
Exactly. Which is a beautiful... that scene is beautiful when he's like, you didn't raise me. You have no idea who you are. You're not my father. Go back down. The world doesn't end. You think that everything is done, but oh wait, there's more.
Yeah, heaven and hell are still mad at their Earth representatives.
Exactly. So
they get shanghaied and kidnapped.
They go back, and Aziraphale, his bookstore is still there.
Oh yeah, that's right. Adam changes everything back, and another jab at our society is all this odd stuff like Atlantis being raised and the Kraken coming out of the ocean. That if it's in the media, how they described all that was mass hallucination.
Yes.
And since the media said it, it's true. Like the cover-ups are true. Oh, it was just mass hallucination. It wasn't something so completely awkward that nobody's explaining it or questioning it. Oh, it must be that because it's here in the paper.
Yep. If they're saying on TV, it must be true. Here we see that the car is back in its place.
Basically, everything that was destroyed is back to normal. Everybody who died came back to life.
But if you notice, which is something that I thought of it afterwards, Crowley doesn't get on his car. He sees his car and he doesn't get in his car. That should have been a pointer when he goes to hell and Aziraphale goes to heaven to meet with her.
I didn't pick up on that.
You'll
explain why.
I didn't pick up on that either until now, which is they both go up to their higher offices.
So they sit in the bench and Aziraphale asks how the car is.
Yes.
I didn't pick up on... Okay, so...
But back forward because we have a lot of... right now you're going through everything that I went, but so that's why he didn't get in the car. So they both go to their factions and...
they're kidnapped and taken... Crowley's is taken back to hell, and Aziraphale is taken back to heaven for like a trial kind of thing.
Where they're basically going to kill them because they think it's the only punish because the war didn't happen. And so basically these two factions who have been in war for 6,000 years, they decided to become friendly.
No, I think they've had back channels.
Oh yeah, let's go with Archangel Michael, the one that is supposed to defend heaven, being the snitch. Like, snitches get dubbed in ditches. What is the phrase?
What are you talking about right now?
Archangel Michael, the one calling hell and saying like, oh, it's in Tadfield. Like, big mouth Michael. And Michael was a woman. Another thing that I found hilarious.
They kind of did that in that Keanu Reeves movie too.
True. You said that. You mentioned that.
Yeah.
It's true. So we have Michael coming to hell with the holiest of water to kill Crowley. And then you have a demon up in heaven to start the hellfire to kill Aziraphale. And both go in. Next scene, you have Crowley just taking a shower, taking the time.
Yeah, just enjoying a bath.
And then you have Aziraphale up in
the fire, not burning.
Inside the fire, not burning, and literally like laughing and throwing the fire towards Gabriel. And both heaven and hell are like, what the F is going on?
They believe like
as well
they've been on Earth. Yeah, they've been on Earth so long.
Yeah.
That they've changed or evolved into something different.
And then they go into this little bench.
Yep,
where they start talking. And this is where one says, the bookstore is intact. The car is fine. And that's when you see that Aziraphale went to hell as Crowley, and Crowley went to heaven as Aziraphale. And now they got heaven and hell out of their back, and they can live a normal, quiet life without their bosses being a pain in their asses.
LA, what is your take? Like, what did you get out of this show?
It's the power of friendship. I thought this show, in a beautiful story, they create this crazy friendship that lasts through. True friends are gonna be there for you in bad and good and bad, you know? Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what is going on, a real friend is gonna be there. Even if that person denies it, as Crowley denied it for almost 6,000 years. But he was always there for Aziraphale, and Aziraphale was always there for him. But to me, it was all about friendship, because you have that with the angel and the demon. You have that with Adam and his friends. You have that between Anathema and Pulsifer. You even have that with the 4 horsemen when they meet at the diner.
Yeah. And they were old friends.
Yeah, and Pollution is like, I don't remember. I don't recall if it was Pollution or War that says, I need 4 coffees. I'm waiting on my friends. And they,
even with Shadwell and Madame Tracy.
Exactly. I think that it all comes down to friendship, and how the power of friendship, it's what keeps everybody going.
I also believe, like, I also took out of this that we choose to be who we are. Crowley's a demon. Aziraphale, he's an angel. But they chose to be not what they were dictated to be.
Just because you were born a certain
this way. Adam was born the son of Satan. He chose not to be that character, even though he was destined to be.
Exactly. Nurture over nature.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is another great take on it.
That's what I took from this.
Yeah.
Outside of the humans can be extremely better with we don't have to be polluting and the 3 out of the 4 horsemen. We don't have to do that to this planet, but we are doing it. Outside of that, I believe that we could choose who we're going to be.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Oh my God, right. We're done with this episode.
Yeah, this was a long one.
Woo! I don't know about you guys, but I felt like I just ran a marathon.
We suggest you watch it. Let us know what you get out of the show. If we were a rating scale, we're going to do sets of wings. What would you give between 1 to 5 sets of wings?
5. I will give them 10.
Straight up perfect.
10. 10 wins.
Perfect show. This is a perfect show.
This is a perfect show for me.
There was nothing you would change.
Nothing.
That's heavy.
Nothing, because
That's straight
at
up
the
heavy.
beginning it might be okay. So if the first time you see it might be weird, but then you see it again and you start thinking about it, and it's like,
which is where I'm at.
So that's why they did this.
It's a heartwarming story about Armageddon.
There are other shows that grab you from the beginning. This one might not grab you from the beginning.
It did me. I think it was from the quirkiness of the narration to the writing to the interactions with the characters. And
I think, let's put it, Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones just hooks you up. I feel like this one, because you need to think a little bit more, it might not hook you up.
Which is my theory. If it makes you think, you're not going to like it.
Because people usually watch TV to just disconnect from the world. It's not basically to learn something, which
I know.
they should. But because you need to, pay more attention to the show, it's something that it might not hook you at the beginning. However, the more you see it, the more you get hooked on. And by the way, guys, this is coming from two guys who have not read the book. And this is purely on the show. You have fans who have waited 30 years for this book to become a reality.
And I love that when this came out, the Christian Association got a petition of 20,000 people
That was so
to
funny.
ban Good Omens
From Netflix.
And I love that Netflix came back with, as soon as Amazon Prime cancels Stranger Things.
That it was a nice back and forth, because it doesn't even make sense, as this is a limited series. This won't have a season 2 or season 3. No.
They're open for it.
So I saw this interview with Neil Gaiman, and they asked him, what are you thinking about season 2? And he said, what I like about Good Omens is that it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. But that's what I read. What did you read?
That Neil would entertain another season, the history of Angels and Demons.
Huh.
Where they came from. Like an origin story of, I guess, the backstory of Heaven and Hell.
I find it so funny that he kept telling everybody, this is my first and hopefully the last time that I'll be a showrunner. I think that I'm retiring as a showrunner and I'm taking writing.
Continue as a writer, Neil. You're great at it.
Rich and I, we're going to start doing at Seriology. At the end of every episode, we're going to have a little battle. So it's going to be the battle of the TV show.
Is it a battle or the convincing minute? That's what we should call it.
Okay, you guys tweet us which title you think more, but I'm gonna go with the battle of TV shows. So I'm gonna have 30 seconds to convince Rich to like a TV show, and he's gonna do the same with me. So on this one, and I am gonna I'm gonna pitch for Schitt's Creek. And Rich is gonna pitch for...
you're gonna watch Hannah.
And you're gonna watch Schitt's Creek. I don't care,
Okay.
but... Nonetheless, let's go for it. So...
Alright, you got the timer ready for the...
Wait a second, I'm putting the timer here for 30 seconds. And the minute you hear the cat bells, and remember, every time a cat bell sings, every time you hear a cat bell, a cat angel gets his wings. Okay, so we got it here.
You first or me first?
You go first. I feel like I've been talking too much. So,
okay.
Go.
If you loved the movie The Professional and loved little girls becoming assassins, you're going to love Hannah. It's about a father who takes this little girl who's been in an institution, raises her in the woods, teaches her how to be a survivalist, an assassin. Then the people who were actually doing the work for the baby... Oh my god, that's too quick. Okay. All right. I had no convincing there. I might have gotten you with Little Girl Assassin.
Yeah, I think it's her first time. I don't think
Yeah.
either one of us is going to give her.
Yeah, I wasn't prepared for that.
So what did we take from Hannah? Little Girl Assassin.
Little Girl Assassin.
Okay.
Survivalist. All right.
So here I go. 3, 2, 1. Schitt's Creek, a family that lost everything and moved to this little town called Schitt's Creek that they bought as a joke. You have the Roses, which is portrayed by Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara. Great comics from Second City TV. And not only that, you get introduced to so many characters, so many quirkiness. If you like the quirkiness from Good Omens, you're gonna like the quirkiness from Schitt's Creek. And it's on their final season next season. And hope you guys like it.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys think. Hit us up on Twitter. Guys, go follow us on Twitter right now.
Yeah, on Twitter and Instagram.
Seriology TV.
At Seriology TV.
Go and tell LA that she's going to be watching Hannah right now.
Go and tell Rich that he's going to go and meet the Roses of Schitt's Creek. Please. Well, guys.
All right, guys. Have a good night. Have a good day, whatever time you're listening to this.
This was a fun one, and thank you for being
see you
here.
next week.
Until next time.
Have a good one, guys. Well, that's all for now, folks. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Seriology. Don't forget to give us a like on Twitter at Seriology TV. Send us a message about what shows you think should be on our bucket list, or if you just want to leave a comment about how awesome we are. See you next week, SeriLovers. And remember, wherever you are, you'll always be in our TV hearts.